Oh, oh, I just got the message. It's recording in progress. Cool.
That's what I got. So
My PC, for some reason, when I lose internet access, it'll crash my PC. So that's a great idea of having multiples.
I think we should. And it's a pretty good feature to have with Zoom. It used a lot in the school environment, but this is a meeting worth having on the record. Hey, Johnny.
I was wondering, can you hear me okay?
Yep. There's Leslie.
Because I couldn't hear you guys very well on my phone, so I've hooked it up to a speaker actually that I was playing music through earlier.
Working pretty good.
Okay. I'm still at work. I didn't have time to run home, so I'm doing this off of my phone and not off of my laptop.
I see that.
Yeah, Anna Maria's still back there in the office trying to do printing and stuff.
So we're still looking for a couple of mayors. They're always late to the party, right?
Hey, just for note, I got a date and a time, and it's being confirmed for August 19th at 5 o'clock for our NICO meeting. So, well, I got you guys there, right? Make sure you save that date.
It's easy for me to remember. It's my birthday. So thank you for setting that up.
Not a problem. Just
That's
for you.
also the date that we have the cabana reserved, just for the evening.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, Kimmy can always come down.
May have to change that.
Actually, take that back. Kimmy cannot come down because Kim, who do you think is going to translate for Lori?
Oh, that's right. We'll work it out. Because it's not until the evening. So what time were you going to plan having the?
It's got to be 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Your thing's in the afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but it's just the rehearsal dinner. So it's whatever they, however long that takes. So we'll figure it out. Otherwise, maybe I'll have Joy come down and sit. How's that? Would that be another option?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay, we'll have somebody.
So what time will it be for them?
It will be 11 o'clock for, no, hang on, 10 o'clock for them.
In the evening or?
Morning.
Good. I think it's handy that we have the same time zone with Canada.
Yeah, I guess.
Hi, Leslie.
Leslie.
Who said hi? Hi, Leslie. Whoever you are, hi. Oh, hi, Kenny.
I was gonna
Well-
say, Dwayne, on my phone, I can only see 4 of us at a time. That includes me.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of playing as we go here. I think well, we'll wait till everyone gets on, but I think the best thing to do is for me to just show the agenda, just so folks have an idea of what's going to be coming, and a couple of comments, and then you're welcome, John, at that time.
Dwayne, you've got an echo.
Yeah, it's on John's phone, I think.
Yes, John.
Is that what it is?
Oh, we'll blame it all on John, as always.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not.
Well, hold on. Let me mute, and then you tell me if you're still got an echo. Hold on.
Yeah. Hello, hello, hello.
No more echo.
No more echo.
Might be that speaker arrangement, John.
Guess what? I'll stay quiet for most of the night. I'll talk for about 3 minutes.
Well, that'll work out fine because it's not echoing when you're talking.
Okay, good.
Here comes the mayor.
Mayor Cliff.
Which one?
Oh, Mayor.
Good evening. Sorry, I'm a bit late. I lost my Zoom link.
Uh-oh. It's good to see you.
Normally I just mute myself.
Yeah.
I was
Suspense
checking my
waiting to see-
email just in case you needed to get in touch with me, Cliff, if you'd lost the link, but I'm glad you found it.
You bet.
Yeah. Sharon, will you be doing the PowerPoint? Okay, perfect.
Here comes Lori.
Hi, Laurie.
Hi, Dwayne. Hi, Kenny. Oh, look at August Wolf.
Oh, my goodness.
Hello.
Cliff,
Hello.
there's Cliff.
Yes, hello, Lori.
This is wonderful. Jackie and Susan and Les.
Actually, I think Cliff's got a little bit more eyeshadow over his left eye than he does his right.
Oh, okay. Well, excuse me, I gotta go put mine on. And there's Johnny.
The pictures are getting smaller.
Yeah.
If you right mouse click on somebody's picture and then put it as pin, it'll blow them up. And then just select the people who, the speakers for the meeting. If you right mouse click on the thing, it'll make a better presentation for you. Then put everybody else on little teeny pictures at the top.
Okay. Is that why you have your camera turned off, Bob? So we can't do
No,
that?
Kimmy just brought me dinner. So as soon as I finish eating, I'll change it.
Just a couple more minutes and then we'll start this momentous affair. Okay, so we may not see Denise or Barbara. I think we'll go ahead and start. Those who are presenting something have an agenda, but the rest of you, I don't believe do. Is that correct? I want to just put an agenda on the screen so you have an idea of what's going to be
That
happening.
was great, because I can only find my draft one. I'm ready though. I did all my homework.
So just taking a brief look here. John is going to do the official welcome. And then I've written myself down as MC. Really, all I'm doing is just kind of introducing and passing things on. And then we'll get to hear from our illustrious town criers, and then a word from our mayors, and then a word from each of our sister cities presidents. And then we get to look at some pictures. And then, and before we get to a couple of these things, I'll explain what we're going to be doing. We're actually going to have the signing by the mayors and the presidents. And Kenny is going to have a toast for us. And if you remember the email, you are supposed to come prepared with a beverage, right? So have that close by when it comes toast time. Okay, so just a couple of other things real quick. We do have 2 or 3 people who are recording this so that we'll have the benefit of storing this in our archives. We also, I've got a message here. We also Bob will be muting most of the folks, and just those who are speaking will be able to say something. Although it occurred to me, Bob, that it might be kind of fun to have everybody be able to be unmuted when we hear these town criers. It's kind of hard to be quiet when the town criers are working, right? And maybe at the toast, it would be appropriate time for everybody to be able to hear, or whatever it is you do. So you've got your beverages ready. I'm going to go ahead and take this off the screen, and John is going to have our official welcome.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Welcome. Glad you could make it here or there. And we've been looking forward to this. It's unfortunate that we're like this, but it's better than nothing. And this is the first of a few celebrations we're going to be doing this year. So if this goes well, this will be our guidelines on how we're going to do the one with Lomonosov and Japan, and hopefully we'll be doing a signing with Romania. So you're the guinea pigs. We'll see how this works. And I am going to pass this on to Dwayne. I'll say something a little later here. And I thank Dwayne for helping put all this together, putting together the slides, emailing everyone, and making sure that this goes smoothly. So I will let you take it from here, Dwayne. Thanks again, everybody. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Town Criers, Mrs. Mayor, we are glad you're here. And Dwayne, you can take it away.
Thanks, Johnny. So as you remember on the agenda, we typically open things with the most excitement, and that's our town criers. So first, Kenny is going to have a town cry, and as soon as he's through, August going to step up to the plate and have a town cry. Kenny, you're up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mayor Laurie, Mayor Cliff, my lords, ladies, and gentlemen, I am privileged and honored to stand before each and every one of you this evening, and furthermore, to acknowledge that we are all standing on the traditional lands of our First Nations brothers and sisters. And furthermore, to proclaim congratulations on this, the 25th anniversary of us coming together as sister cities. The warmth and friendship that has developed between Anacortes and Sidney and will always be truly amazing. The hospitality that I personally have received from our Anacortes friends and town criers Judy and Richard has been so heartwarming. As David Rapella says, we are friends across the pond. God bless the United States of America. God bless Canada, and God save the Queen.
Woohoo.
My turn, I take it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. In 1990, 6 people came together for the express purpose of establishing a sister city. There were 3 countries to consider: Russia, Costa Rica, and Norway. The citizens of Anacortes took a poll, with most choosing Norway. Polls can be very misleading, so instead, Russia was chosen. Anacortes City Council and Mayor Jim Rice worked with Sister Cities International of Washington, D.C. A formal relationship with Lomonosov, Russia, was established in 1991 under Mayor Doyle Gear. In 1995, another sister city under Mayor Gear was added: Kisakata, Japan, now known as Nikaho City. Just 1 year later, with the leadership of Mayor Dean Maxwell, it seemed appropriate to add Sidney, BC, Canada. In 1996, and to help be an advocate to keep the Sidney ferry run alive. After several years of the large Croatian community asking, how come there isn't a sister city in Croatia? ASCA and the local Croatians worked together to establish the obvious choice of the town of Vela Luka. With the help of Mayor Dean Maxwell, the 4th sister city was established in 2003. Several organized visits have occurred to and from all of our sister cities. Hundreds of students have traveled abroad and to Anacortes. Scholarships and community events have been supported, and performers of all kinds have graced us with their showmanship and talents these last 25 years. These laudable activities lead to the fostering of understanding, compassion, and friendship between cultures, building respect and trust. We look forward to many more new experiences and are ready to share them with the world. Here's to another 25 years. 3 cheers. Hip, hip. Hooray.
Hooray.
Hip, hip.
Hooray.
Hip, hip.
Hooray.
Thank you all.
Thank you, August. So this afternoon, I received a note from Richard Rydell, who is currently, as you know, living in Nova Scotia. And here's what he said. He said, I will not be able to join the call as we have no internet, and it is very late here in the Atlantic time zone. Please convey my greetings and wishes of congratulations to both Sidney and Anacortes Sister Cities Associations Best of luck, everyone. From Richard in Nova Scotia. That was nice. So we got to hear from 3 town criers tonight. So next up is our mayors. So Lori is going to speak first. And after Lori is done, then Cliff.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dwayne. And in tradition, August stole some of my lines, but I'm going to use them anyway. It's a tradition that Richard and I have done, so I like to carry that on. In 1956, International Sister City Association was formed to support the mission of peace through people. 40 years later, in 1996, it was a very good year. And I commend our leaders and our Sister City Association and our community members in Sidney and in Anacortes for joining these 2 amazing communities together on the Salish Sea. We have more in common than not. Our love of community, our love of country, our love of the globe, and the Salish Sea. We have grown over decades with long friendships, shared our communities, our families, our homes, our traditions, and our celebrations. We have a deep understanding and respect for each other. Our lives have been enriched, and in the spirit of the Sister City organization, we have grown our global community by connecting and thriving together. Dear Sidney, you are our home away from home, and we have missed you these past 18 months. We'll be there soon, I promise, and we hope you will be here too. Happy anniversary, dear Sidney, and here to another 25 years.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's truly been an honor to be part of this group. It's been the highlight of my last 8 years of mayor. It's just wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you again. Thank you, Dwayne. I want to begin my remarks by acknowledging that we in Sidney are joining the meeting from the traditional territory of the Coast Salish First Nations, in particular the Wasanich First Nations, who've had a relationship for millennia with the lands and waters, not only on the Saanich Peninsula where Sidney is located, but also on the Gulf and the San Juan Islands. A warm hello to Mayor Laurie Gear and to everyone from the Anacortes and Sidney Sisters Associations. Thanks to August Wolf and Kenny Podmore for your enthusiastic opening cries. And a welcome from Sidney to August for stepping into the large, probably extra large shoes of Richard Riddell. I trust he would be proud of his successor. The residents, businesses, and community organizations in Anacortes and Sidney have been neighbors on the Salish Sea for 130 years. In 1891 was an important year in both our histories. It was the year the city of Anacortes was incorporated. And it was the year that here on the Saanich Peninsula, a farming family, the Brother family, took some 50 acres from their large farm to establish the original town site, just 21 city blocks on the waterfront, and named it Sidney. Our local economies were similar then, and they're similar today. Not surprising given our communities grew on our respective shores of the Salish Sea. 31 years later, in 1922, the Anacortes-Sidney ferry service was established. And given we expect to rise above this devastating COVID pandemic in the near future, we know that next year, while not yet a certainty, will hopefully give us the opportunity to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the ferry run and of our communities being connected in such an important way. Tonight, we mark the 25th anniversary from June 7th, 1996, when our communities came together in another important way. Through the efforts of volunteer members of our respective sister cities organizations. To John Loverick and Sharon Stoneman, the present sister cities leaders, and to all the volunteer members past and present, we thank you for maintaining the important links between our communities. The family and friendship ties, the community organization ties, The economic ties through tourism and other business have helped us become more vibrant communities and improved our quality of lives. I want to close by remarking that we are only days away from our respective July 1st and July 4th national birthdays. I know I speak for Kenny and Sharon and our Sydney Sister Cities members, will greatly miss sharing in the celebrations we've done together for yet a second year. But this COVID pandemic has brought out the best in us, and we have become more resilient, and we appreciate the strength and power of hope, and we look forward to sharing in the celebrations together in 2022. We hope you have an awesome July 4th this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori and Cliff, both of you, for your comments. And now we're going to hear from our presidents. See, we go from mayors to presidents. Which way is that? I don't know. So Sharon is going to share a few thoughts first, and then Johnny will as well.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. I started coming to the Sister Cities meeting in 2014, just in time actually for the 30th anniversary of our joining with Karen. And over the years, I've gotten to know what Sister Cities does in the community and the friendship that it's engendered and the people that it connects. And I'm very proud to be part of this organization and so pleased that we can celebrate tonight and think about all the things that we do between our two communities. But when I think about all the other communities that we impact with all of our sister cities together, and then our sister cities have sister cities, and it's like this amazing web of connections, and by touching that web a little bit, it ripples out. So it's a real pleasure to look back over the 25 years of connection with Anacortes and to look forward to all the wonderful things that we have to look forward to. So thank you very much.
Hey, Johnny.
Well, I want to start off by saying in 1996, where was I? I was 3 years out of high school. And so Sister Cities wasn't on my radar very much at that time when we established this friendship. But then I'm not sure how many years later, not too much later though, I was invited by one of our city council members, Nick Petrish. He said, you ought to come to a Sister City event. It was a dinner, Christmas dinner. And obviously, I could tell I was the youngest one there. And now I still am, other than August. August is actually younger than me. So thank you, August. I'm not the youngest member anymore. But I want to say that, no, it's been really great. I unfortunately haven't been able to go over and do the Sparkles Parade or the Canada Day because of the schedule that my son, who actually lives in Canada, put upon me. My son lives in Richmond, Canada. And so most of those weekends I was somewhere on the road taking him back home. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to enjoy those experiences with Sister Cities, but I have enjoyed time in Sydney. I've gone to the aquarium and I've gone to places around there on my own. So I have enjoyed that. And hopefully in the near future, I'll be able to spend some time at one of these events. But I do enjoy the time that you guys do make your trek over here. We've had several members for our parades, but also for our past golf tournament as well.
Right.
And so that's always been fun. It seems as though even though we're so close together, we're so just across the water, it's almost like it's harder to make things happen, as if it's just too much within our reach. We take it for granted, perhaps. So, but I look forward to several years, again, another 25. And, I'm glad that everybody who's part of this today continues as long as you possibly can. And for both of us, I hope that we find more and more members that continue this long into the future. And that's about all I have to say. Thank you so much, everybody who's a part of this.
Okay, so now we're going to get a chance to look at some photos. Some taken from Sidney folks and some taken from Anacortes. I'll share some of those after Sharon shares a slideshow from the Sidney side.
Okay. Let me, while I'm getting started here, I do want to make a special thank you to Rosalind McClure. Rosalind's done many things with the Sidney Sister Cities, but one of the major things she's done for us is she's been our archivist. And she lent me her photo albums, and it was educational, it was entertaining, it was a real walk down memory lane. So I'm going to share some of those photos with you, and thank you again, Rosalind, for A, for doing this, B, for keeping them, and C, for sharing. Our first sister city was Cairns in Queensland, Australia, and the mayors of Sydney and Cairns signed that in May of 1994. Now, the early years of the association are a bit lost in the mist of time. We didn't have the same technology then. And in fact, when the Sydney Middle School and one of the middle schools in Cairns decided to have their students be pen pals, they had no email. They had to do it through computer chat. And they did that. And the teachers from the two districts made private visits back and forth. And this picture is of two teachers visiting from Cairns to meet with the school teachers here. Now, having instant communication has certainly made it easier to keep up with the folks on the other side of the world. And we've collaborated on several projects over the years. In 2008, Cairns hosted a ceramics exhibition, which with all of their sister cities, of which they have 6. And as it happened, that Leslie Nichols, our current past president, but was just a general member then, was on a private visit to Australia and went to see the exhibit. And this is the article from the local paper of her receiving a gift. The next year, the same thing was done again. Cairns had an exhibit that was a photo display, and it was a day in the life exhibit where photographers from all of their sister cities took pictures on one day in May, and then they had the exhibit. And because it was all digital, they sent us a disc, and were able to show the exhibit here at the Tillist Art Center in Sydney. The year after that, it was a fiber art exhibit. And this group of fiber artists all created pieces that were sent to Australia to be shown. And when they came back, we had a display here in Sydney. In 2014, it was the 30th anniversary of our joining with CAN, and there were several events. Sim Howard, who is, I see on this call, was on a personal visit to Canada, and she came to Sydney, and we had a celebration, and that was a real treat. That year, they were having they made an offer to have artists from their sister cities come and do a residency, and Richard Wong of the Victoria area took up that challenge, and he went to Cairns for a 6-week residency where he showed his work. And he is a watercolorist who works on Japanese rice paper, a combination of Western and Oriental techniques. He showed his work, which are of endangered animals of the BC area. And while he was there, he did studies of the local endangered flora and fauna. And these are examples of his work. Also that year, Cairns hosted student ambassadors from their sister cities, and we sent 2 students from our local high school. And when they returned, they spoke at our general meeting, and we also had an exhibit of Alex, the young woman, her photographs. So that was 3 big events that happened in 2014. Oh, where am I going? There we go. This is a fun thing that Cairns has done. It is not uncommon, I understand, for municipalities to have barbecue stations in their public parks. People can come and use the grills to barbecue up their meals, and there's picnic tables, and they have one in the downtown in the city that is dedicated to their sister cities with a map showing all of their sister cities. So I thought that's a very clever idea, and maybe we should consider doing that here. It's been 37 years now since we signed that agreement. There's a lot of water under the bridge, and the world is a very different place than it was then. And we're looking forward to finding new projects to collaborate on, and maybe some visits again. Next up was what we celebrate tonight. All of these documents are hanging in the City Hall, so we got pictures of them so that we could actually see the official documents. Now, when I looked through the archives, I see year after year of celebrating the return of the ferry, and there were lots of pictures to choose from. I chose this one because it shows two of our beloved members who are no longer with us, Margaret Boyd and Kathy Aiken, on a blustery day in 2015. Now, when I was looking through our archives, I've always heard the rumor that the reason Sidney and Anacortes got together was because we had to save the ferry, and I have no doubt that that was actually a very true thing. But I noticed that the archives and records I find all say very polite things about it's a logical combination and we're close together and we get each other, and that doesn't seem to have made it into the recorded history, but we all know how important that ferry connection is to us. And here's the 2019 ferry return. It was a much nicer day, and that was the last time we were able to do it, and we're sure looking forward to being able to do it again. So next to riding back on the Forth on the ferry, what do the folks of Sidney and Anacortes sister cities really like to do? We like parades. Going through the photo albums and folders on my computer, each time I found a blaze of red and white or red, white, and blue, I knew it was parade time. We like parades in the summer. We like parades in the winter. We like parades in Anacortes. Actually, there's only one thing we like more than we like parades, and that's eating after we have a parade. And we have so many I found so many pictures of us sitting in backyards and at the flight club and in Anacortes of people in red, white, and blue, or red and white sitting around enjoying each other's company. One of the other things that we did to celebrate our 20th anniversary was we had an art show that reached across the Salish Sea. Artists from Sydney sent their work for a display at the Depot Art and Community Center in the fall of 2015. And in the spring of 2016, artists from Anacortes came and had a show at Artilist Arts Center. And it was a really wonderful experience to see the work that had been created, but also for the artists to meet other artists and for the Sister Cities people to really have a chance to spend some time together, because in both cases, it was not just an overnight run. And of course, all of these pictures don't even begin to show the personal visits that go back and forth and all the friendships that have come from our association. I regret that we can't be together to celebrate this milestone or do our usual fun things, but I'm so glad that technology has been able to get us together to share tonight. Now, our most recent sister city was the city of Nimi in Okayama Prefecture in Japan. This is the official signing, which took place in June of 2008, but it was about a 3-year process to get to this point. And the mayor of Nimi came along with some of members from his town, and there was a great celebration because this happened on June the 30th, so he was part of our Canada Day celebrations. But in the lead up, there was a lot of visiting back and forth to make sure it was like dating, you know, is this relationship going to work? Are we actually going to sign on the line? We had students come visit in 2006. We had students come visit in 2012 after the agreement was signed. And most recently, we had students come visit in 2019. And it's always a wonderful thing to have the students come to visit. And our Nimi friends have been gracious hosts to us as well. There was a visit in 2006. A citizen delegation visited in 2010. And in 2015, an official delegation went. This is at the temple before the big parade day. Notice that parade thing again? In Nimi. Oh, I want to go back if I can to show one of the things. You'll notice down here in the bottom corner that Susan Samosko was harvesting grapes in Nimi in 2006. They're famous for their grapes, and there's Leslie in 2015 harvesting grapes from the same field. They were really amazing, and these are the really special ones that they sell in Tokyo.
Mm.
So again, we are looking forward to being able to have our friends from Nimi visit us and for us to be able to go back and enjoy their parade again. So what about when we're at home? Well, you know, when we're not interacting with sister cities, it turns out we do a lot of things. We participate with the Sidney Street Market. We do the Festival of Christmas Trees. But what really things we like to do is we call them socials, but they're parties. We have the Take a Chill Off with Chili party where we learn to line dance. We can't go to Hawaii, so we'll bring Hawaii to us where we learned how to hula dance. We had a Mardi Gras party done Sydney style. And our last social event was our Christmas party for 2019. And there's one last thing that we do that we're very proud of. Every year we produce a calendar full of wonderful pictures taken of Sydney by local photographers. Bob McClure ran that project for 10 years and produced the calendar last year under very trying COVID conditions. This year, a new team has taken on the project, and I'm very pleased to show you, if I can get my mouse to cooperate. No. Oh, I went away. I'll get it back. The cover for this year's Sister City calendar, Town of Sydney calendar.
Very nice.
So those are all the pictures that I found for us to share. There's been a lot over the last, with all of our sister cities, but especially with you guys. And I'll give the screen back to Dwayne.
There you go. Thank you, Sharon, for that. And I was really watching with interest to see if I was going to be duplicating some of what you did.
I was thinking of that. I thought, I wonder how many of these pictures are the same people at the same events.
Well, and the fact is there is some duplication, but not much.
That's okay.
So I'm going to share a screen here. And I appreciated the fact that you shared a considerable amount of information about your other sister cities. That's really helpful. And I think we got a brief report from August and from the mayor and from John about different Anacortes sister city arrangements. I chose to focus just on the Sydney relationship. And one of the things I found was the more photos I gathered and put together, the more obvious it became that we have done a lot of things together. Some that I'd kind of forgotten about for a while, but hopefully this will be a fun journey to remind all of us of the variety and the different types of things we've done, the time that we've shared together and events that we've participated in. So somebody probably remembers that cake. I don't remember what year that popped out, but I love that picture. So I've used it a few times. Welcome to Sydney, of course. Welcome to Anacortes. So here's a couple of articles regarding in Anacortes paper regarding that magic June 7, 1996 date. So there's a picture of Dean Maxwell and Marie Roscoe, and of course, Bert Stevens. And then there's an interesting article here that one of the things that I picked up in reading this article was that when the delegation came from Sydney to Anacortes to sign the Sister City Agreement, there was another group of folks that came from Sydney. 100 Sydney boats came from Sydney to Anacortes for a big get together with these two yacht clubs. I don't remember hearing anything about that, but that must have been kind of fun, don't you think? You've got these sister cities folks planning this relationship. At the same time, you've got 100 boats coming from Sidney to Anacortes. So this is the program for that Friday evening, June 7. And you'll see some names that you may or may not remember. Some of, 25 years ago, that's quite a while ago. So the mayor, of course, we've already mentioned, and you've talked about Ann Say. The others I don't recognize, but you, of course, Bert recognized, but you may remember some of these other names that are on this list that were part of the official delegation for this event. And below that is the tour highlights that were involved, a number of spots around Anacortes, and then the charter signing. That kind of got my attention because if you'll look, you'll see the last line there, signing of the document, the two mayors and the two presidents. That's why we're going to do the same thing tonight. The two mayors and the two presidents are going to be the signers on the certificate that is going to be signed this evening. So there's Don and Joyce Lapworth. Don was vice president at that time of Anacortes Sister Cities. He was the president for a good while as well, and an incredible motivator to get us involved in sister city arrangements. Probably 3 of our sister cities were a direct result of Don's work in particular. This is an invitation from Anne to Anacortes to participate in an event. I just thought it was cute scroll that was put together. I don't know when these were produced, but I think they're still in use in some places, perhaps in our visitor center here in Anacortes. They happened at the same time. Okay. Sharon talked about parades. We just can't get past that, can we? We just have to have a parade. So I'm just going to scroll through a bunch of pictures. You'll recognize some faces and you'll recognize some places too. Some of these pictures go back a ways. I don't even know what the dates are on some of them, but we see some folks there that we haven't seen for a while. So this is a more recent one. This was an article from, this was the year of the 150th of Canada's 150th birthday. So this was taken in Anacortes. Preparation, boy, getting ready for a parade in Sidney is a big deal. There's that new float. And there's that special car passenger. And there's Bob, crazy Bob. It looks like he's got the bubble maker. He got a pretty good reputation in Anacortes the times that he kept that bubble maker going. It was fun to watch. It looks like somebody on one end of our banner has kind of dropped the ball. I think that's putting it back together. Is that right?
Dismantling it.
Yep. So the floats. We have a little float history as well as just parade history. I mean, obviously it's part of the parades, but for other purposes as well. This is the first one made in Sidney. those cars on the deck. And this was the one that we built. You notice the name, Don's Joy? That is Don Lapworth, and Don's Joy is his wife, Joyce. So he actually named a boat that he had Don's Joy. And when he told us about it, we thought, whoa, that's the perfect name for this ferry float. And that is awesome. No, it worked up there. And not all parades were held in the best of weather. I was not at a Sidney winter parade, but I was at a couple of Anacortes ones where the rain was going sideways and we were just pretty miserable. Those parades did not take very long. Fortunately, they happened quickly. All right, the spring opening ferry run. This has become a tradition ever since Washington State Ferries reduced service from 12-month service to 9-month service. And ever since that time, we've celebrated in March or early April, the first run. So here's a number of photos from various first runs. That was one of our younger participants who made a couple of trips to Sidney for the opening run. This was a remarkable event. Every time it happened, it just happened to be the shortest international party that ever happened. And it happened every year the same way. 10 or 15 minutes, and then we were back on the ferry in order to make sure we got back home. David Mosley on the right, I don't know if all of you had a chance to meet him. He was the director of Washington State Ferries for many years, and probably more than anyone else, got the state to be building more ferries. He was kind of had to be in the position of being our opposition for a while, but I knew all along that David really loved the Sidney Anacortes run and was determined to make it happen. But we had to, as you remember, we had to go through some nasty steps to get there. But David Mosley was a big part of that success. So one of the gatherings. Sometimes we had a band playing. That was fun. The 50th. Great events. I remember sometimes we were crossing on the ferry and we went through some pretty nasty weather only to find the sun shining in Sidney. How about that? And not only did we have that event, but then we had more opportunities than we wanted to attempt to save this run. And as we've already discussed, saving the ferry run in 1996 was a contributing player to our current sister cities relationship and to the fact that Anacortes has enjoyed town crier ever since, which is a remarkable cultural adventure for us, has been and continues to be. So this was 2000 2008, 2009. Someone mentioned David Rapella earlier. That's David. This was always a pleasant sight to see when we come in on the ferry, is to see a Mountie on the deck. This was a big event, 2009. Joe got a chance to get between a couple Mounties there. So this was the power group. I don't know if you'll recall, but three of the folks on the screen, two on the right and one on the left, were Washington state legislators. And they were not just Washington state ferries, but Sidney Anacortes, biggest fans and the biggest power brokers to help us rescue that ferry run. Neither of them, none of them are in office now. I miss them. Who knows what's going to happen next, but I hope that our legislators in Washington state keep up the fight as these three have. The golf tournament. We heard a little bit about that. This really has been an exciting thing for us and a significant fundraiser for us, but it's also been unique with our relationship with Sidney. I don't know for how many years, but probably most of well, at least half of the time that we had this tournament going, we had golfers coming from Sidney to participate. And one year I remember we were having a hard time getting enough golfers together, as many as we wanted. And that year, Sidney sent, I can't remember, it was either 3 or 4 foursomes. So 12 or 16 players to participate in our golf tournament. And that was remarkable. And here's some of them. And some of them did okay on the drawings that we had at the end. This was a nice, I don't know what kind of club that was that he got, but that was a nice drawing. Some of our troops. And of course, the most illustrious foursome of, or fivesome of all. I love this picture. I've used it several times. They're just the two from Canada in this foursome. And so we had to fill in, and nobody complained about the young lady that joined them for this round of golf. And these are a couple of the crazy kids who benefited by having funds raised to help cover the cost of their trip to Japan. So these students were heading to Japan. This tournament happened in June. They were heading to Japan in August and just really excited about it. And then, of course, we have the criers. And as I said before, Anacortes never, I can't imagine a way that Anacortes would have ever experienced this unique cultural adventure without our connection with Sidney. It just wouldn't have happened. So this is the 1997 contest. This I like just because I like the picture. This was 99. And this was the, what's the date here? This was 99 as well. The Sidney Anacortes World Invitational Cry. And I love that picture too. That's crying with passion, don't you think? And then our first really big show on our own was the 9th World Championship. And it was an awesome, remarkable, cultural, educational adventure for Anacortes, something we had no experience with and wouldn't have were it not for this relationship that we share. It's our youngest town crier in training, Matthew. Everybody stood in line for this photo op. Sharon, I'm glad that you had a number of photos about the art. I don't have very many photos, but I have a couple. But one of them is the, what was his name?
Richard Wong.
Wong, yeah, right. And these were threatened species, were they not, that he was painting? Yeah. And just delightful artwork. And then, of course, this was the art show in Anacortes. And Lori is diving into a gift there with very much enthusiasm. And this was the show in Sydney. And one of the Anacortes artists who went to Sydney. And we saw that, you showed that before. And you'll notice on the left-hand side there, the painting is by Anne Martin McCool, who many of you know is just a delightful, wonderful person and artist in Anacortes. So I write down the auctions. There were a number of auctions that we partnered together to produce a trip to Sydney. I only have photos of one of them, a couple photos of one of them. That's this page and then this one. And these are, I'm not going to read these because it's too long. These are the things that Sydney Sister Cities organized and put together as part of this VIP trip to Sydney. And we had people coming back from that trip who said they never expected to get the treatment they got. They were treated like royals, and the number of things to do, more than they had time to do. And it was always, it became a very popular auction item for that particular auction. Informal gatherings. This is a little bit more formal than this. I don't know who that is. I just happened to find that picture in my archives. The flags. So the timing of our sister city relationship with Sydney is unique in that all of our flag displays have the Canadian flag right in the middle. How about that? So that's on the east end of town. And that was 2004. And then in 2012, we put this display up, and there you go, the Canadian flag right in the middle. And that's when we put the Canadian flag up for the first time. So that's our celebration from Anacortes there. Okay, so fun stuff. So the next thing we have to do is signing the certificate. I want to show you a picture of what the certificate looks like while the mayors and the presidents get their certificates in front of them, and I'll explain to you how that's going to work. So here's what the certificate looks like. So that's the top. We have both logos and you can read through the text there. June 7th, 96 and June 24, 2021. This is the day we celebrate. So if you'll see at the bottom of the page, there's a place for each mayor and each president to sign. Each of them will sign 2 certificates. We'll gather them all together, and then we'll end up getting 1 signed packet to Sidney and 1 signed packet to Anacortes. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing here, and we're gonna just kind of keep our eye on these 4 people, just make sure they're following through and signing their document. Maybe when you sign it, maybe you can hold it up in front here so that we can see it.
Okay.
Okay, there's John's signature. All right, Lori and Cliff. And is that all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, way to go, folks. That's a big deal, a historic date for us. I mean, how many other Anacortes sister cities, Sidney sister cities, 25th anniversary events have you ever seen before? Not a one, right? First one, and by Zoom at that. Okay, we're gonna.
And
we'll collect-
Dwayne, those certificates are beautiful. Thank you to the people who made them.
Well, let's thank Johnny's wife, Anna Maria. She's the one that did the graphics on those. And I think that's going to be a fun thing for us to remember for years to come. So we have one more piece of official business, and that's a toast. So if you have your beverage close by, Kenny is going to give us a toast, and we can't clink our glasses, but we can raise them and drink from them, right? Go ahead, Kenny.
So it is indeed an honor, and I really do mean that, to propose a toast to our 2 sister cities. May the next 25 years be the same as the last 25 years. And in the words of Bob Hope, thanks for the memories. Cheers, everybody.
Hey,
Cheers.
So how many online toasts have you ever done? That's a first for me, for sure. Thank you, Kenny. That was great. Okay, so that actually it doesn't offend anything. It ends our official part of the program. And Bob, maybe if you want to just unmute everybody, and if anybody else has something they want to say, we can take a few minutes to do that. If not, we can sign off and head for whatever we've got there. So everybody, no. Can you unmute?
No, everybody's got to unmute themselves.
Okay, so go ahead and unmute yourselves there.
Okay,
I
am I
want to just start
unmuted?
off.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Who wants?
I want to just start off and say, hopefully here's to the borders opening up again soon, and we'll get to enjoy each other in person. We'll have a picnic or something. I know I'm waiting for my son to be able to come across, and it seems like it keeps on being delayed to the 21st of something.
Yeah.
So we look forward to that. And celebrating our own parades coming up as well for the first time. I hope you guys will be able to do that. We are doing a parade here, and I think this celebration went well, and I think it was a real good template for us to do our upcoming meetings as well. So
good.
Thank you, Dwayne, for laying out the program and everybody who was here.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, Sim.
Yes, I'd just like to say congratulations to Sydney and Anacortes for your 25th anniversary. I can remember being in Sydney to celebrate the 30th. So what you've done today is fantastic, and it's certainly a template for all of us to take away and do this. But we haven't celebrated one yet on Zoom, but we will be celebrating our 15th anniversary with one of our Japanese sister cities, Oyama. So that, is great, and hopefully we can share that with you too. But I just want to say congratulations and thank you for allowing us or me to participate in this celebration.
Thank you for joining us.
Everybody,
We
thank you.
appreciate
Nice
it.
to
Very
meet
good.
everybody. Thank you.
Okay, someone else? Any thoughts?
I can't wait to be in the parade in Sydney. Just see all those thousands of people.
You have good parades. You have very good parades. We've always enjoyed being a part of your parade.
Now, as we know, regarding the opening of the Sydney Anacortes Ferry Run, there's still a lot of variables out there, and we really don't know what's going to happen. But Washington State Ferries is still got September 26th, I think it is, September something, on their calendar for being ready to run if the borders open, and if they have boats, and if they have crews. And there's three big ifs there.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's not a big barrier to overcome, right?
Maybe Johnny could get us a boat. We'll just go up on one of Johnny's boats. Can you get us a boat, Johnny?
We could get one of the barges to take us all up.
Well, that would be tricky if any of the authorities in Sydney knew about it. Is there any word at this point on Sydney's possible
No,
border opening?
the premiers are talking to the Prime Minister, and that's where it is.
It's not an easy
Open
decision.
the border,
Yeah.
but they're having a major outbreak in Manitoba at the moment. So, yeah.
Are you able to have your July 1st party celebration at all?
No, it will be a virtual this year.
Oh, okay.
Yep, we're holding out hope that maybe we could have a parade in December, maybe.
Well, we have no choice. We're going to survive this one way or another.
Yep.
And sometimes we have to be more patient than we like to be.
Dwayne, I really liked seeing the pictures of the ferry return from the ferry side. I've been to many from the landing side, but that was the first time I've seen the approach, and that was nice. Thank you.
It is kind of fun because about 10 minutes before we come into the dock, everybody's herded down to the front of the boat. And once they open the gate, stand aside or get trampled. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Well, especially if you had Elaine Oliphant behind you, man. She was right there in the front. She knew exactly where to cut across to get into the first part of the customs.
Well, and we also knew that if you didn't get into the customs clearing early, you may not get to the event. And you'd have to go right out of one customs building into the next one to get back on the ferry. And that was pretty challenging. So Elaine had it right. You had to be a little bit energetic, enthusiastic about getting in line there.
Were most of the car passengers on the ferry aware of what was going on, or was it a big surprise to them to arrive on the ferry and find this huge group of people with flags ready to, run off the boat at the other end?
I think many of them were surprised. On the other hand, our contingent was on the ferry all the way over here, and we had opportunity to share what we were doing to some of them as well. But I'm guessing in 2009, that big opening after we saved the ferry run, I'm guessing there wasn't anybody on that boat that didn't know what we were going to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think the big surprise for people who didn't know what was going on is when you got to see the town crier and the Mountie waiting to meet the fairy. It's like, oh, do they do this to every time?
And the piper, yeah.
Those were, you know, those were challenging times, but they're memorable times as well. I mean, that gathering on the Sidney dock was really special. We were acknowledging and celebrating the fact that we succeeded once again in saving that run. And, you know, you look back on the history, and I think there were 7 or 8 different times in the history of the run that it had to be saved.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes in the early years, maybe it shouldn't have been saved. There were some challenging times, but in recent years, that just brought these two peninsulas together in a way that you just don't see normally.
Maybe September opens up. Maybe we could have a party in September if the ferry makes it over there.
I think we should keep our options open for that.
Yeah, oh, I think we could get a party together real quick if you guys
Yeah.
suddenly things started opening up and the ferry was coming back.
That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Would be fun. Any other thoughts? Thank you to the participants, to Kenny, to August, and to Sharon and Cliff and Lori, and who did I miss? Johnny?
Johnny.
Thank you all for being a part of this, and for all of you who tagged along as well.
And thank you, Dwayne, for organizing this.
I was glad to do it.
Yeah.
Glad to do it. Okay,
Okay.
thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Miss you guys.
Bye.
Next time.
Bye.